Welcome to Oasis. Ready for battle.
Hello. Hi. Hold on. Use the bathroom.
Whack job like him doesn't care about consequences or even his own future. Those are the ones you have to watch out for. It's It's what makes them so dangerous. Eraser! He wants to knock me out of the fight before I can get eyes on him. If those idiots can't handle their job, I'll just have to take care of these guys myself. No! If we don't stop this guy, then Tamaki will have stayed behind for nothing. Come on, Eraser. Time to do your thing! Be careful, Bat! Where'd you come from? I jumped out in front of Mr. Aizawa. I figured I wouldn't take any damage, but then you jumped and I kinda got stuck. Well, nothing we can do now. Get ready. We're not alone. Go ahead, punch me. I'll smash your fist to pieces. You good?
I tried to solo queue one game, and it was a bunch of GMs, and they were all really mean, and we got a draw, and he said it was my fault.
Of course. Blame the chick in the group.
Well, I didn't say anything.
Oh, well. Okay. Still, it
The only
applies.
guy that was, I mean, I guess, the only one playing Mercy. I was on Ana, okay, so it was on Hanamura, and I was defending, and I was on Ana, and I was literally sitting in the spot that all Anas sit, and Hanzo came, like, ran up the fucking wall and headshot me. And that whole fight, I was walking back from spawn, obviously, and then I got back, and they were like, God, why the fuck does our Ana have 30 ult charge? This bitch sucks. And I was like, okay. I have literally not been in the fight at all.
Well.
And then, fucking our tank, Sir Simpalot. I recognize that name. I don't remember who it is, though. I don't know if you do.
No.
But, at the end of the game, he was like, Mercy, I want you to shove that staff up my ass. Or that was, like, at the beginning of the 4th round, and then at the very end, when everyone left but him, he said it again. He was like, Mercy, I still want you to shove that staff right up my ass. And I turned my mic on. I've been muted the whole game. I turned it on, and I was like, just when and where? And he was like, oh shit, this has never worked before. And then he was like, oh, I gotta go. And he left. It's funny.
Are you in the stream?
I'm getting it open. Okay, I have it now.
Okay. Oh, by the way, shove that staff up my ass, please.
When and where?
Great.
Wait, what is this one?
This is from the
This
game.
isn't the... Oh, okay.
You guys haven't had a scrim since. I'm pretty sure, right?
We had one tonight.
Oh, I thought you guys weren't doing it tonight.
No, we did.
Oh.
We 4-0'd Composure.
Oh, lovely. We'll do one of these maps, then we can do another one of the other ones. But there's some specific stuff I wanted to... Well, I might still do both of these, just because you played Zen on Nimbani, at least a little bit.
Zen on it.
Good speed. Not too far. Okay, you went too far. You don't want to go past your Rhine shield. If that Kree had stun up, you would have been dead. Okay, these in-between fights before, these in-between fights when it's just poking, I would say just keep your, keep the music on, heals, just because you're gonna heal up that chip damage, and it'll be, build your beat a lot faster. Once you're ready to go, that's, you know, hopefully someone calls that out, or at least you see it, and then you just quickly swap over to speed and amp. But during this time, yeah, keeping it on heals is fine. You don't need to go anywhere too fast. Okay, when Sunless is trying to get out, an aggressive or a good Lucio play probably would have been to wall ride a little bit further and boop them back so they can't chase after him. Or either to boop them back or just to disrupt them from going in. Barely dodged that. Make sure bubble's gone before you boop.
Hello there.
I am loving this.
On this map in particular, a more aggressive play that you should be trying to look for is trying to boop somebody into the middle of the pit. By doing that, let's say on a Ryan, a Zarya, a Kree, honestly anyone except the Pharah, you're putting them out of the fight for at least another 6 seconds before they finally get back up. That kind of play is going to turn the team fight real quick into a 6v6, into a 5v6, 4v6, etc. So just make sure you're looking for a play like that. Okay, again, you went in way too aggressive here. You want to make sure you at least have eyes on your Rhine. And again, by looking back here, you don't see that Tusk is low, and this beat is about to be a bad beat because of it. A little late on the beat. Good attempt. Yep, you don't wanna, yeah, good. Okay, don't just stand there.
This will heal you. I feel great.
Playing too aggressively here. Remember, you want to speed your tanks. That's good. If he would have hit Shatter a second less, you guys would have been down on the ground though. Ryan hit his at the same time. So in general, I think everyone in this game kind of played bad, and we just out-mechanicked them in general. That's really the only reason we won. Like I even told Laz last night, like he played like shit. Tusk was doing a lot of stupid shit as well when I did one with him. But you're playing extra aggressive in this match, which is not good. So make sure you're tempering that going into a match. Fine. A little bit early on amp, I'd say, for heals. I think you could have waited just a little bit longer. No need to go up top. There wasn't nobody up there that you needed to boop off. Don't go to touch point when you guys call for a retreat, which it clearly looked like you guys were calling for a retreat. Just make sure you get out, and anyone else that's trying to get out. A little too early on the speed boost. Okay, if you're wall riding, once you get your wall riding good enough, a good play that you probably could have gone for is when the whole team is running up here and we pop co, your heals aren't necessarily needed as much. It's more your speed, but if you're able to get your wall climbing a lot, or your wall riding a lot better, jump up here and then look for a knockoff up here instead of just running with the team straight up. Because you're going to the same place, they're just missing out on speed for maybe like 2 seconds. So going for something like that is perfectly fine.
But if I did that and I died, they would literally all just yell at me.
Well, that's because you fucked up. It's fair to say that. I don't know how you didn't get shot. It's crazy.
Just too.
Right. I think you might need to lower your sense on Lucio a little bit. Your aim's a bit all over the place.
I made all of my heroes a bit higher.
Okay. Yeah, because if you watch your camera and how you're aiming, it's not very smooth. It's very... So back when I used to watch Stylo, so one of his series is... Fuck, what is it? It's the coaching one. Overanalyze, right? And one of the things that he said, I mean, this is just kind of an example. It doesn't really apply to console, but for PC, there's this one guy that had his aim, and when he was aiming, it was very like, think of like a line graph, and it just going kind of all over the place, like a seismograph when an earthquake happens. Kind of goes all over like that, right? You want to make sure that you're making it much smoother, and right now your aim is like a seismograph. You know, a little bit less than that, but still, it's very what's the word? Raw in a sense.
Yeah, I guess I've just gotten used to this that. I know you're supposed to like get
It's
it as
fine.
high as you can.
Yeah, just don't make sure you're not fucking with your sense this close before a game. If you want to do it for scrims, you want to do it for comp, perfectly fine. That's where you should
No,
be.
it was like a couple weeks ago. I'm just not used to it still. But I don't know.
Then definitely jump in one of those aim trainers with specifically your main support. Well, I mean, I guess really only Bap and Lucio, and make sure you're working it out yourself.
I feel like it's made my Zen better, but my Lucio.
Honestly, yeah, you will build beat a lot faster if you're hitting more consistent shots, obviously, which throughout this whole time you just haven't been doing. You're just kind of shooting at bulk and hoping to hit instead of actually nailing the target. Good pressure onto the Kree, even though you didn't hit. Yep, you want to make sure you're playing a little bit further back. Good beat. Okay, let's rewatch that. I just want to make sure I was right in seeing that. Okay, so I know this because Lads told me last night. Tuss made the call that he thinks the enemy Rhine has Shatter. I mean, to be fair, Tuss needs to get better at alt tracking Shatters, but if he says that, even if he's wrong, make sure you're playing at least a good distance behind, or specifically right around this pillar to the left, so that if you hear the sound cue go off, you can just quickly jump around the corner so it doesn't hit you, and then you can pop out for beat. Which doesn't happen, but you played this positioning for the most part correctly. Yeah, okay, so yeah, alright, you're this is fine. I was gonna say something about when you were popping. You were on heals instead of speed, but she was already half, so that's fine. Good. Good. Okay. Do you want to do the Numbani or do you want to do tonight's? Okay.
Traveling to Mumbai. Ready for battle.
Looks like you're having some luck in comp.
Who, me?
Ready for
Your replay's looking kind of red.
You're one
Yeah.
to talk. You and your friends.
I think most of it's just on DPS. Haven't been playing anything else really.
No, mango.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay. So right here, I would.
Defend
They-
objective A.
They told me to pocket echo.
Yeah.
But I realized like after they started like actually diving, it just didn't work because echo can get out of situations, but I need the pocket chase so he can like live, so
Right.
I don't have to keep going back and forth between the two. So I did learn that.
That's fine, but I think to start, you need to be on the echo because from Sunless's POV, where he's supposed to be watching, he's either watching this bottom, he's watching top, or he's watching this right side, right? If they go through these middle, either bottom or top, when he throws those stickies in, if you're damage boosting him, he's already going to get 30% ult charge or more, right? If he manages to hit all of them. But once they eventually push out and then look for the dive, that's when you should, I would say, preemptively start flying towards chase.
Okay.
I'm with you. Damage increase. Quite the boost.
Did you watch the Team VOD review that I did earlier this week? Or last week?
I don't know.
Team 1, I think it was the day after the game.
Stay here.
I don't think. Yeah. Oh, wait, no. After the game?
Yeah, it was probably a day after the game. No, not that. Okay, make sure you're not flying up too high here. Okay, now, yeah, as soon as you see the Laz's critical, that's when you jump over.
Oh yeah, here I also see I had toggle guardian name first target thing. I've been trying to learn it the other way, and then I switched it back so that I could like feel more comfortable since I hadn't figured it out, but it actually like screwed me over, so I had to switch it back again.
Yep. Eventually you'll get used to it, but
Yeah,
obviously
I'm
bad
starting
res.
to get used to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
obviously bad
was
res,
not-
but
it was
at
an
the same time, that was Laz's fault for rotating the way he did. He should have backed up towards our spawn instead of going out further.
Where does it hurt?
Okay, make sure you're damage boosting Chew. Good.
You should be at peak performance.
Nope, get off chase. You just want to make sure Chew gets back in mech. Okay, so now for the rest of the point, absolutely pocket chase. You don't really need to pocket Sunless here.
Damage boost engaged.
Or if, like, let's say Chase had used Bob on first point, and Sunless had his ult charges where he's at, I would probably pocket Sunless just to make sure he gets ult, and then once he does, then I go back to Chase.
We make a great team. Let's get you back out there. Let me get you patched up. Adjusting angle of attack. Helden sterben nicht. I'm being attacked.
Yeah, I was gonna say don't go for the res there.
Heroes never die.
I'll just say he's low. Make sure you're healing it. Change name. Good. You're doing really good with focusing back and forth between the two. But there's during that, just to slight improve. slight change that you need to start making is when you're healing like that when you did for Neem, there's probably about like 2 or 3 seconds where you should be looking around for Sunless, because at the start you were doing a really good job of bouncing back and forth between them with the heal beams, making sure that, you know, they're not like absolute one, but they're not full health, and you're just switching back and forth, which is what you should be doing. But again, make sure whoever you're healing, make sure you kind of have an eye on somebody else, because you can't control whatever. So like, let's say you were pocketing Name, you're not going to control his movements or what he's going to do, no matter how much you heal him. If your beam is on him, you should still be trying to look for Sunless, or flicking to look for Sunless, just to make sure he's not like absolute one and about to die.
Let's get you all out
Good. Yeah, that's unlucky.
I don't understand how he wasn't.
His DM ran out because the other diva pressured him. I think it did eventually. At least on the last couple shots that you were starting to try to look away and try to get out. I wouldn't have gone in, and I'm assuming you swapped to Lucio because of the next swap that you did, right? Or because of the Ryan swap? Right, okay. Good, because otherwise I would have said Brig is better here. Which, arguably, I would still go with Brig here instead of Lucio.
The name Ryan.
Dude, trust me. Again, watch the VOD review. You'll see. You'll see.
Yeah,
trust me. Watch the VOD review.
Let him.
Oh, I did. Nope. That pin was... I explained this to Tusk when we did this VOD review. No, actually,
really gold level.
No. What it was, because I mean, every Ryan has done this at least once. That was an ego pin. So,
well,
no, listen, hear me out. What it was their Ryan pin Naeem, right? And Naeem takes a couple swings, and then in his head, he's like, okay, I should go for this pin because he's low, right? No, it's not just that. It's also, oh, this fucker managed to get a pin off on me when I had charge still up, and I could have countercharged. I need to hit him back now. That's what it was. It was that ego charge. Go ahead.
I mean, from what I remember, it was because Ian said, like, oh, because our Echo switched to Ryan. He was like, oh, we have 2 Ryans, go aggro, and Naeem thought go aggro meant pin into their heat.
Yeah, that was, especially when he was critical. That was...
Yeah.
Yep, that was dumb. Better swap here probably would be on Brig since they're running dive. Once they eventually swap over to that Ryan Diva, that's when you would switch over to Lucio. But at the moment, Brig just entirely fucks around with their comp a lot. So.
God, Mango. Jump.
Good speed.
Stuck.
Right, and if you were also on Brig here, Laz wouldn't have died. Good beat from you. It's kind of necessary.
Allow me to repair the damage.
Okay, once Chu goes back to make this swap, you need to be going to speed him. You were lucky that they made swaps, because if you didn't, they would have came in full force and you would have been down one person.
Okay, here I was.
No,
was
this is
gonna
good. This is good. This
them
is
down,
good. Yeah, this is
but then
fine.
they
This
just
is
jumped
good.
down anyway.
Yep. Okay, and even this isn't anything towards you, but even if Laz called for us to go aggro, that is the wrong fucking way to go aggro. He needs to go to the
Oh,
left
yeah,
side, not the right.
definitely.
Just because that's where Sunless was, not the other side.
It wasn't like in into their whole aggro. It was like
no, not even like how we
maybe
did it with
swing
pinning
once and pick your
versus.
shield back
No,
up,
not
like-
what I'm talking about. Not like that. I'm just saying where he went. That was the best part about it. Okay, I was gonna say swap over to heals. Yeah, Chu should have been fine there. I don't know how he got so critical, and even if... We just need to get better at stalling cart, and you probably should have been the next one to touch cart and stall it out a little bit longer. Instead of, you know, letting it get capped.
Ready for battle. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
Okay, this is partly your fault, but not the fact that Naeem died.
Yeah.
Not the fact that Naeem died. The fact that you died here is partly your fault. You were overextended
I
too
know.
far out.
Yeah, me and you.
Yeah. So what should have happened here, if somebody would have watched the fucking VOD that I did, was tanks and Sunless are supposed to come down mid and jump up here, right? If that happens, all of their aggro from their dive would turn on to them instead of you guys. Going out that far, if that were to happen, would have been fine. However, our tanks were playing like pussies this far back and didn't do exactly what I told them to do, and we got fucked for it. But if your tanks aren't in a position that you can at least see them, or you see that they're taking aggro, especially on Zen, make sure you're safe enough that if that kind of play doesn't happen, or if their diva wants to say, hey, dive you're going to be at least relatively safe from the dive. You were split off a little bit too much. All that needs to happen is the Winston needs to put down bubble to separate you and Laz, and you're dead there.
They ain't finished here.
He is an excellent teacher.
Good.
Beginning objective capture.
Okay, make sure when you're coming up these stairs that you are charging a volley, not just walking forward. Because if you would have, you could have either burnt this bubble that the monkey's about to place, or you could have launched it all into the monkey.
Step rider.
Okay, you should have kept the Harmony Orb on Chase, not Chew. Also should have dropped here.
Adaptive circuits engaged. Wrecking ball.
Repetition is the path to mastery.
Duplicating diva.
Good prediction. Good volley.
Escort the payload.
The payload.
Okay, another thing is you shouldn't be the one that's pushing carts. Should be more Laz. Because if Laz is up there, all he's doing is making sure everyone's staying alive. What you're doing up there is capitalizing the fact that we have a dive and a very potent one just because we have that Discord. And your healing has a limited range compared to Laz where he has the whole map. So by you pushing forward, you're making sure that our team is utilizing Discord instead of just having bulk heals. Okay, I hope you see this prime opportunity shot to throw a volley out. Let me know if you do.
Oh, like down that.
Yeah, you had a
Really long-
prime spot. That's one of the best. Like I've said this before. I might have said it to Laz, but this is one of those things where a lot of the times you'll see this in Owl just because it happens every. I'd say at least once in a series that a Zen will just charge a full shot volley, launch it down, launch it in a direction where where an enemy could potentially come from, and then they'll just fucking blow someone up. This is that same thing that will happen. Maybe 2 out of 10 times when you go for something like this, you will actually kill someone or at least do damage to them. So doing that is good practice to keep in mind on any map, not just this one.
The payload must be moved to its destination. Gaze into the iris.
Nerf this!
The shadow of doubt.
Adaptive circuits engaged.
Okay, make sure you're keeping Discord on the echo when he comes through. Good. Unlucky with the Creole, you might have been able to survive if you were, I don't know, a few steps closer to the cart. You would have survived if you were a few steps closer to the cart, but small things. Honestly, your biggest issue right now when you're on Zen is more or less your positioning than anything else, and the fact that you're never charging volley shots. Like, you're hardly doing it where, again, same thing applies. As soon as you exit spawn from that door, you walk this way, you're charging up a volley. As soon as you round this corner, you have 6 shots available. And then it's just, if nobody's here, that's fine. If there is, then you just set yourself up for either damage or a kill.
Assistance would be appreciated. Walk in harmony.
Make sure you're keeping our orb on aim. Good, you do.
Step rider.
If you wanted to, this is very like micromanaging here, but if you wanted to run into one of the ball mines, that way Laz can get more alt charge. Just because in that situation it was end of fight, nothing was going to happen if you ran over the mines.
Adaptive circuits engaged. Diva.
Okay, if there's nobody to shoot at, don't shoot. You're just wasting ammo at that point. Lay it on the trance. As soon as he goes in, as soon as Sunless gets hooked, you pop trance immediately and go after him. Instead of just waiting that extra second.
Step right.
Nano boost administered. You better get out of the way.
Good. Discord priorities on Soldier at the moment. Okay, dead. Now it's the ball. Good. Good.
I can't wait to get ready for battle. Ready, player one.
Defend objective A.
Eyes on the bad guys. Damage increase. Your support has arrived.
I am ready. Get inside.
Let's get you that outfit.
Okay, you're constantly worrying about too many things, and at this point, it doesn't seem really like you're trusting Lance to heal. Couple times where you should have just been damage boosting instead of healing. Just make sure it, unless they're like absolute critical and you know they're not going to get healed, like that small damage that you're healing up, don't even worry about that. Just make sure you're damage boosting Chase. Faster he gets all, better for you guys.
I'm taking care of you.
10 seconds remaining.
Good, but again, instead of taking this 39 damage, you need to be playing back where Laz is. Make sure you're trying to utilize the fact that you have a beam reach and how far you can stand from it. I'm pretty sure it's something like 10 meters, I think. Make sure you're utilizing that distance so you're putting yourself out of harm's way. Specifically in a dive, when you're pocketing someone, you don't need to be right on their ass in order to pocket them. And if, let's say you're on Anubis with Ball, Doom, Sombra, and Lucio and Diva, basically what we were supposed to run. Yeah, a little trigger about that too. Let's say if they did that kind of combo and you were sitting, like you were, your staff was in Chase's ass at this point, you would have gotten bursted down in a combo like that when they pile drive, slam, nade, boop, diva boosters, etc. So make sure you're utilizing the fact that you have a beam range and that you don't have to be on top of them. Does that make sense? Okay, instead of jumping, make sure you're just canceling Guardian Angel instead of just jumping at the end of that.
Let them out. Get in here.
Heroes never die.
Changing position. You defend objective A. Get through this.
I'll run it.
Taking off.
See, now you're starting to do your charge shots.
Adjusting angle.
Yeah. I usually do them like a lot to where I'm like, wow, I'm doing this too much. I don't know what it was about this.
again, like I said, I think everyone was just playing bad and we out-mechanicked them. Or at least not playing to what we usually play. Make sure you're also carding your Discord targets. Good volley on the Mercy. Very nice.
60 seconds.
Okay, make sure you're focused on Soldier here. Good. Nice. Good ball. Good. For Zen, again, two biggest things that need to work on is positioning, making sure you're safe, but also being able to throw Discord and Harmony out, and then charging those volley shots. I know this was one map that I just saw and not an entire series, but that's all I can really work with because you're a main support. So make sure you're charging up those volley shots around the corners and looking for chances where you can get those ridiculous cross-map volley shots off and get a kill, get some extra damage, build ult, etc. For Lucio, you were playing hella aggressive, at least on the first round of Oasis. Need to be tempering that back. Make sure your Rhine's in front of you. That's biggest rule. Make sure your Rhine's in front of you. For the most part, the two beats that you had on, the three beats throughout this entire thing that I saw, two of them were good, one of them was not good just because you were late on beat and Tusk died because of it. Because it, like domino effect, you were too aggressive, so you had to get out, and when you were getting out, you were worried about yourself getting out, and you weren't worried about your tanks, which once you turned around and see the tank's about to die, tank dies, you pop beat, we just wasted beat and can't do anything with it. So it's just a domino effect of how that happened. Your wall riding looks to be getting a lot better. I thought your Zen was fine. Just make sure you're calling out those discords. Harmony prioritization was fine. Mercy is looking good. Still, make sure you're trying to get used to that sense. The new, not sense.
Yeah, I know.
The controls. Yep. Don't second guess your trances. There's a lot of times where, at least from what I've seen from your play, is you either trance at a mediocre time, you trance at the Overwatch perfect time, so they pop grab, we trance, that type of thing, or you pop trance too late and somebody dies because of it. Don't second guess yourself when throwing those out. You want to, I mean, to be fair, you're a main support, but at the same time, you're just, for the most part, you're still learning Zen a bit, so make sure you're kind of testing the waters to see what you can get away with, what's a good trance, what's not a good trance, and make sure you're analyzing if that was a good trance every time you do pop it, just to build that muscle memory over and over, like, hey, I need a trance here because such and such reason, right? So test the waters a little bit and see what you can do, because a lot of the times, like, you made it through all of Numbani without popping trance until the very end of the map, which there probably was a time or two that you could have popped it earlier. And I
just don't want to, like, waste it.
Right, yeah, that's fair.
You know?
That's fair. That's what scrims and comp is for. You want to make sure that when you do pop it, you're using it to, just don't second guess yourself and test the waters with it and see, and making eventually you'll get this, you'll get the Overwatch brain for knowing, okay, that was, or, oh, hey, I need a trance here because my diva and my Kree are about to die. And so you trance, and it was a good trance. You just, and if somebody dies, or if it was just a bad trance because and 2 seconds later they pop grab and wipe your team, then there you go. It was a bad trance. So just play around with it, see what you can get away with, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really think you played much else except Brig on Anubis, so we don't really need to go over that, and it was only for 2 seconds anyway. Any questions? Yes? No?
No.
Okay. Well, you're free to go.